shake it.
Welcome to Native, episode 2 of the podcast series. We've got Christopher King in, aka KT KINGA. He's a drum and bass producer from Perth and he's been around for, I think, 5-6 years now.
Yeah, about that.
Have you originally been from Perth or did you move from the East Coast or something?
Yeah, I've always lived down here. Went to school in like Rockingham.
Yeah.
A bit of a
you're a South boy, eh?
yeah, South boy, yeah. And started off down there, but I didn't really have much interest in electronic music back then. It was all like kind of like punk rock sort of stuff to like, you know, get you sort
hyped
of
up.
pumped, hyped up and stuff like that. So, but then electronic music came along. Started off with a bit of dubstep in school. UKF really kicked it off. Finding them on YouTube and then just going through all their stuff, and it's just like, oh, this is next level stuff.
What sort of tracks or like artists do you think? Like Neuro or?
No, not like Neuro sort of stuff. I mean, it was definitely like in your face sort of stuff. Like, I mean, the Skrillex was a big one.
Dubstep artists.
Yeah. I mean, I would never go to like that sort of like rhythm, sort of heavy sort of stuff. It was just like in your face, like grungy. I'm just like, oh, yeah. Need
just
the soul
the
and it's
melody.
Bit, you just feel it's just like smothering you, and you're just like, oh, like it's a bit much. But I do like the lighter sort of stuff, like in it, but still like a little bit, you know, get your heart racing and stuff like that. But then transitioning from the UKF dubstep side to the drum bass side, and then I ran into people like Camo and Crooked, Shock One, Netsky. I mean, the list goes on. The Prototypes as well, like big influences they are. But yeah, it just kept on going from there, and yeah, it hasn't stopped since. And then Hospital as well, they released, I think it was Hospitality Drum Bass 2011, I think it was. It had like purple artwork, and then that whole album there really kicked it off. And there was so many good tunes on there, but like there's Ill Behaviour by Danny Bird. That'll stay with me forever. That one is
That's the thing that sort of changed, yeah. When I used to go to Shape a couple of times, the song that really got me when the first time I walked into that club, Metamorphosis by Inside Info.
Oh yeah.
Like old classic. I was like, what is this? Like, just that stank face. Everybody's just pulling and you're just like.
Yeah. Everyone's got their bass faces there. They're so good.
What do you think about the development of like electronic music, I guess, Australia and sort of Perth? Have you seen a lot of artists up and coming that have really developed themselves?
Oh, definitely. And with the help of social media, it just helps out. It just amplifies it so much more. And you could just see the passion and the lengths people want to go through just to prove that they've got what it takes, and they really enjoy going out, listening to music, having fun, and then expressing it through going home, making their own stuff, and coming out, meet new people, and all that sort of stuff. Like it's really great to see, and it's definitely over here in Perth, especially on the drum bass side, it's flourishing. Like it
always has its highs and lows, but now it's really picking up again.
Yeah, definitely. There was definitely a transition stage where it really dived down. But when I first started, it was at its peak. It was amazing. Like I remember Andy C filling up Metro City, 3 levels, sold out, and that's unbelievable. And he's just going in like. Going to town.
Going to ham.
Going to town.
And everyone's just on vinyl as well. The guy's a nutcase. I tried to play on vinyl and whatnot, just with hip hop. That's easy enough, but I can't imagine with like 4 decks and like you're constantly mixing and because it's totally different than just.
Yeah, it's hard. And you like got to get down into the crate and then sort through like which one you want. You're like, oh, was it that side or that side? And then like, oh, I get all confused and stuff. But yeah, I've had like little to no experience really on them, but they've appeared at like house parties and stuff. And then you gotta jump on them. You're like, oh yeah, give me a go. And then you kind of train wreck and you're like, I'm out. But
so what type of decks do you usually use?
Well, I'm all about just the Pioneer CDJs, like the club standard sort of stuff, like 2000s, 900s. That's what I have at home. The 900 Nexuses. I got 2 of them and just one 900 and a 850 mixer. Yeah, that's enough for me.
That's pretty much club standard as well.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
I think as well a big thing for me was going back on older gear, even though I had, say, like a controller or something, or like a big, large, those SZ controllers.
Oh, yeah.
I saw some CDJs for sale, but old 900s. And it doesn't have waveform or anything. So when I got them, it sort of forced me to learn how to actually like listen to the music and know the track back to front. So learning for me on older gear was actually a real positive outcome. Just because you don't focus on that laptop that's sitting there and seeing the colors of the waveform.
Exactly, and it's good. And I started off on the CDJs. They were like Mark 1000s.
Oh yeah. Are they have a USB?
No, so they're
CDs,
CD. And that was like, that's a lot of fun because like, well, burning all the CDs isn't fun, but you sit there for like a whole minute waiting for it to come out. And you're just so keen to play it,
and it's not loading or something. CD scratched.
Yeah, something like that, or you lose it, and then you have to go download another one and stuff. But it was so much fun because like you just go in and out. No cue points or anything like that. You have to roll it forward as quick as you could to the first like 22 or 44 seconds, whatever you wanted to go, and then you had to like beat the music. But now it's just click the cue button, there. next, up away you go. It's
Quantize
so quick now.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What are you wanting to see more on, like, I guess, CDJs or more electronic equipment that could really improve your workflow?
I don't know if there's any improvements that I would add, but I really like what SoundCloud are trying to do at the moment, where they're trying to connect up with, I think it's Rekordbox or like DJing sort of stuff. That way the younger crew are making free downloads. They can kind of get that little bit of revenue and pay through people playing out their tunes in the club. Whereas when you download it on a USB and all that, they're not getting that sort of, couple of cents and whatever. But every little cent counts,
Yeah, exactly.
So
because if 100,000 people are downloading it.
Yeah, exactly. And then all these young artists, say like myself, we're all trying to push for that sort of, to make it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Make something of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're such a young age and you've really developed like releasing music with Terrence and Phillip, especially this song, D&B Religion, which is absolute banger. And just a lot of like the social medias like D&B All Stars and stuff, all those little clips of just people being catfished, and then the D&B Religion just flicks in.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going off.
Yeah, it's amazing, all the videos that we get sent. And yeah, they've been a big supporter of us, those D&B All Stars. And just the UK in general, that's where it just took off. And even
having that response as well from those guys, because I can't speak for everyone in Perth, but I always feel like for the drum and bass producers, they're always trying to show that people in Perth can do what people in UK can do. And when it's showcased, they're like, holy shit, these people down south, like down under, are killing it.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's what I've heard from them as well. They look at us and they go, man, these guys are killing it down there. Like, they want to come here and we all want to go over there.
And New Zealand as well.
Yeah, New Zealand's popping at the moment.
And some of the guys as well, quite large from there, like Upbeats, absolute dons.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, they make some cool stuff. Yeah, they really broke the game when they made Dead Limit with Noisier. That was
that whole EP or the whole album was just crazy. And they've always been just. I saw them play at Villa, and the first time I saw them, I've seen them I think like 3 or 4 times, and then I saw them another time, and I started realizing like these guys are absolute dons. Like they're just mixing. This guy, one of the dudes, I don't know their names, but one of them had just this constant stank face for like the whole set. They were like a 2-hour set non-stop.
Yeah.
And it just dropped into the next, and was just this cohesive mix. Yeah. It was absolutely like just face melter.
Just like crazy transitions.
And just when it finished, I was like, oh my God, like these guys are legendary.
Yeah, you're like looking at them and they've got their skank bass faces out, and then you turn around, look to your left and right, and everyone's
got the same
and
face.
It's just like, oh yeah, this is good. Like, yeah, it's really good to watch.
How's the gigs been at Sewing Room? Because you've been sort of
Yeah.
helping out with the managing side, or have you been taking sort of control of the GKM at the moment with the events?
I've basically been the eyes and ears for the boys over there. So if anyone doesn't know, Terrence and Philip, they're the founders of Good Karma Music, and then I've kind of just taken it upon myself just to help them out and
Because it's
run
one big
these
family,
events as well.
really. You guys.
Well, that's it.
really
But
rock
it's
out.
not. But the family really doesn't extend just to us three. It goes out to everybody. You know, everyone's welcome. It's in the name, Good Karma Music. We're on the same page as probably what you guys are at Native. You want to help out each other. Get everybody on the map, as many people as possible. Because the more people are in it, the funner
The
it
better it
gets. The better and bigger it gets. So
There was a bit of a phase where you guys had a lot of gigs at Metro's Frio.
yeah.
And every time I went there was just this atmosphere that I've never experienced from any other event. It's always feels very at home. Maybe because I love drum and bass, but also it's just, especially Good Car Music and Inhibit events, everyone's really down to earth, and there's all types of people coming, all ages and stuff, which I really like. There's like the fresh 18-year-olds coming through that really love the drum and bass and love like the dirtier, more jump up style. And then you've got your like junglists and neuroheads, and then like I guess your rollers and whatnot. And even at Rosemount Hotel, rollers been, how long's that been around?
They celebrate. I think it was 20 years. I think they just celebrated recently or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time. Roller's been around for a good time, but I still haven't had the chance to jump on there. But if you're watching there, Chris, I'm keen. But that roller is definitely something special. It's just, it brings everyone together, that event. Really great to be a part of that one. And they've recently just done up the Rosemount as well, so it looks quite mint inside as well. It's unbelievable how they changed.
It's a wicked venue.
Yeah.
It just has, I don't know, the beer garden itself is awesome.
Yeah.
And then going inside and you can just creep around and it could be a live band outside. And then there's just some heavy bass coming through. There's some D&B or whatever's playing inside.
Yeah. It's pretty funny actually, because after Document 1 in August, I had a gig at the Rosemount for Technomatic.
What, straight after or?
Yeah, it was like the day after.
Oh, okay.
So after, it was literally, I dropped him off at the airport. Document 1, dropped him off, and then moved from there straight to Rosemount, and I was like almost done. And then my set was at 4, but it was good to go in there because I jumped in there for sound check for a little bit, and then they were like cranking it, testing it all, and it's just like, this got beef, like it's got real big bass. It's just huge potential to run.
And it's one of those unique places as well, because it's pretty much a bar. It's like a hotel bar, like compared to like different clubs and all that. It's like it's so unique to Perth as well.
It's amazing for daytime parties. That and the court as well. When Inhibit's been doing really nice daytime parties. I find it's convenient starting something at 3 because it takes up your whole day and you can make a day of it. And then by the time it's like 10 and it finishes, you like walk out and you're like, oh my God, I can still go out or like go to another bar, or people that have work the next day, they can actually go to this event and actually go to bed like
and
enough
like the
time,
people
get enough sleep.
who want to like punt late. You got those after parties afterwards at the clubs and all that.
And generally it always like, I don't know, finishes at Capital or when our bar used to be open, or Sewing Room generally was another event would just start because it finished at 10 and then doors open, because I watched AMC play at Inhibit at the court, and then straight after to Sewing Room to watch Macca for Fluency. That was fucking wicked. That was a wicked night. Did you see that? Or
no, I don't think I popped in for that one.
Right.
But yeah, they also do a fucking mean palmy as well. The food is really good there too. And then like, you think about leaving and you're just like, oh no, I'll get a palmy. Yeah, I'll get a palmy.
Everyone's on the hunt for a good palmy.
Yeah.
They're just like,
and they do a good
Rosie's next door does pretty good for $15, I think.
Straight after like a late lecture, we just like rock over there, have a beer, have a palmy. It's all good.
So in a couple of weeks, you guys, or the GKM crew, you guys are doing 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What a journey it's
Yeah.
been. It's been unbelievable, really. I made like a status on Facebook the other day, kind of expressing that like how happy I was for Good Karma and how far it's really traveled. But as I was typing it, I mean, it took me so long to type the whole thing out because I'll just sit there and I'll just start reminiscing about like all the good times and what all the times we'd be sitting at the back, we'd brainstorming on stuff and be like, yeah, this is a sick idea. And then some be like, oh no, we can't do that. And then we can't do this. And then like, but then we really came out with like the best ideas at the back of the boys' house because they used to live in Bribber Lake, and I used to go there as like a little holiday house sort of thing. It'd be all weekend I'll be there, and then I'll go home for like 5 days of the week just to work, and then Friday as soon as I get home, straight back, you know, so it's backwards and forwards, and it was really great. But it was even when we weren't doing events, like it was just so much fun just brainstorming about it. And then people that we met through the label, everyone came through with their stories and their passions that related to what we were pushing, and it just drove us more to go forward and, you know, just help as many people out as possible. And Terrence has been just amazing at that sort of stuff. Very, you know, down to earth, relatable. Has that drive, you know, to go for what he wants, and started the whole thing. And started the whole thing with a group of boys, but it kind of like died down a little bit. And then Terrence and Phil took it upon themselves, like, you know, let's make something out of this. And they credit to them. They done a really good job.
Yeah. His persistence really paid off.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it takes a lot of willpower just to keep going. And
yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
Is this getting boring now? Or how can I reinvent myself? Or how can we keep going, sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, they were all the ideas that were getting thrown around. How can we keep afloat? Because it's like in all scenes, really, with music, you know, you fall out the game for a week, you know, you're actually probably a month behind, you know, like it moves that fast that it's crazy.
You blink,
so you got to be
there's already like 5 or 6 other like companies trying to like launch events, and you're like, fuck, now there's a lot of competition.
Yeah, so much competition. That's why, you know, you get like all the competitions really pushing all the people putting the events up, and you start up real high, and that's when like all the peak, you know, all the people are coming and loving it. But then it kind of gets a bit too saturated and kind of drops down a little bit, and people kind of branch out and try and find something a bit different, and then take a breather and then come back, you know, a couple months later, or, you know, even a year later or whatever, just to try and get back into it. But
the circle of drum and bass. Electronic music and
like a similar thing happens to, like, you know, because I'm from the techno and the trance scene. So a similar thing happens like with labels like Bad Habit and like Transition and all that, and like they usually like they'll pick up, and then it's just the same guys coming over and over again. So you get the loyal fan base that always come to like every event, and like it's just like an issue of like trying to like bring in new people like each time.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, drum and bass has very similar traits. Especially with everyone's like a family sort of thing. Everyone's very close together. And it's funny because what that creates is a lot of competition between everyone. Everyone's just like, I want to beat everyone, and, you know. But it's fun competition, you know. It's like cheeky competition, you know. Like everyone's being cheeky and stuff like that. But like, you know, everyone gets involved, you know. Someone does something, they're like, yeah, I like that status. That's cool. Like, you know, someone else is doing it, you know, doing amazing things. So you chuck them a like and stuff like that, and but it's really great to see, and loyal people, and everyone just gets amongst it, stays together.
There's people that I've only ever seen at events that I never ever see out in person. Yeah, like sober, and I'll just be like, see their face again. They'll remember like. There's this couple that have dreadies. Have you seen them? They like wear leg warmers sometimes to some of the events.
Actually,
they're always at the back.
They've been around for. I actually do not know their names, but they have been around for a long time. I have seen them around, and I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, it's cool. You know, they're just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. You know, because it's people like that. You know, that they don't care about like what anyone else is doing. They just go and do their own thing.
They
You
just
know,
here
they
to
just
jam.
love it. You know, and it's
inspiring as well.
Yeah.
I love actually coming to these events because there's people like that are going to be there.
Yeah.
So it really, I don't know. I can't say for other electronic music events, but definitely when I've went to Drum Sound Bassline Smith, which is at the Spawn Barracks.
Oh man, I
Man,
miss that.
that is like one of the coolest venues. It's like we're right in the middle of the city, and I'm like, what the hell? Like this, it's like an air hanger sort of style.
Yeah.
And that same couple was there, the Dreadies, and a couple other people like with hula hoops that like lit up and whatnot. And I was like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Have there been much trance and techno sort of events, or is it sort of on like a
It's
quarterly or monthly
sort
thing?
of like died down like within the last few years, like probably like early like mid 2000s was like at its peak, late 10s or early 10s was like at its peak in Perth.
Yeah.
But then, like right now, like it's probably like an event every few months or so. Like the next one, it's going to be like end of November, and
Did
that'll
they
be
just
like the
have one
last
at
one.
Sewing Room?
I'm not too sure. They usually use either like Gay Show or like Metros or what's that other club called? I forgot. But yeah, like it's since it's died down, they went down to like smaller and smaller clubs. So it's just like basically like as you said, like loyal.
Yeah, yeah.
I've actually met a lot more people. Might be just me speaking to a lot more people, going out a bit more often now. That actually listen to trance or even mixed trance, especially the Your Shot competition that recently happened at the court. I met a lot of people that played like trance mixes, like flat out the whole 25 minutes, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is cool. Like they love what they're doing, and they're not like afraid of, what people are thinking, or if people are, dissing that sort of music. It's like really, really, I don't know, it takes a specific person to like that sort of style, but I love hearing a mix, like when I'm driving down south or whatnot. It's just something to chill to.
It's very like uplifting, like that sort of music. Like with drum and bass with like dubstep, it's like it's in your face. Like you want to dance with it. But like I don't know, with me with trance, it's like I just like want to sit back and just like chill and listen to it.
And I think drum and bass as well is it's good in that way for that sort of stuff as well, because drum and bass has so many subgenres.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes you down a rabbit hole. Any, if neuro, you got liquid on the other side of the spectrum, you got jump up, you got, the dance floor stuff, and
then everything in between. Because it becomes like a hybrid and whatnot. So like when you're mixing like, I don't know, neuro with liquid or something, and then it becomes some weird, you're hearing elements of one artist and you're like, oh, it sounds like this, but it doesn't sound like this. And it could have, what's those not jump up, there's new sort of roller style horn tracks.
Oh yeah, the fog horns.
Yeah, the fog horns.
The UK
and
love
people
the
just
fog
like,
horns.
yeah. And it's like an alarm going off and you're like, okay.
There's a Facebook group on Facebook. It's a private one, but it's got over like, I think it's like 30,000 people in or something like that. Like sort of like worldwide drum bass sort of thing. But like every day there's always a topic, something related to drum bass, funny, or like there was one the other week that was this girl, and she was like, oh, I'm looking at buying a new fish, but I want to name it like drum bass related. And then like people just coming up with like funny names, like like Andy C or something like that, and like just corny stuff and like funny stuff. And it's really funny, but they always talk about foghorns in there. Like they just love the foghorns. They're just like, oh, I can't get enough of it. Like they make funny videos. Like I seen one the other week. It was like someone with like a vacuum cleaner, and they made like this drum loop on their fucking computer. They turn it, and it's like, ooh, and it's just like, fuck. That group as well, it really brings everyone together and really talks about, drum bass. That's what it's called, and that group there has been a pretty big fundamental part in our growth, is in my growth and Terence and Phil's growth as well, because D&B Religion, we posted that in that group, or people would like talk about it. It was just ID, what's this, and everyone just wanted to know it. And then by then it was just every day or every couple of hours someone wanted to know what the tune was. And it's crazy because 2.5 years later or whatever it is, you know, this song is still popping and people still want it, which is like when we're in the studio making it, you know, we didn't think it would go that far.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're in the studio, we weren't, well, like,
You were
you
just
know, it's a
making
good
it
tune.
because you were
Yeah,
making
yeah,
it, yeah.
yeah. Like, yeah, exactly. There was definitely some little niggles, you know, everyone trying to race for the mouse and get onto it and stuff like that. But it's really funny though. When we were making it, predominantly it was me and Philip making it at the first point, and then Terence kind of popped in. This is when he was moving out of his other house and stuff like that, and he was just quite busy at the time. But he popped in a few times during the week to work on it with us. But the one thing I always remember about that track was when it's funny because Terence was at the back giving like some advice and stuff like that, and me and Phil sitting there were like, oh no, I don't think, you know, that's what that's gonna do. And then he's like, no, do it. So then we're like, nah. Then he climbed through and grabbed the mouse, and then he like put the LFO up and one of the bass sounds, and it went from like what to like that, the main sort of bass line.
Yeah.
And then all of us went straight for that mouse. We're like, yeah, what, you know, like, you know, it just clicks like that. And I think that's what's happened when people listen to it too. They're just like, whoa, like, and yeah, we all raced for that mouse, and then Phil won, and then Phil was just like boom, 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 and then and then that happened, and but yeah, it was definitely a fun process for sure. But at the end, you know, we had to take a little bit of a break from each other because, you know, because I wasn't working at the time as well, and I don't think he was, or maybe he was, but not as many sort of hours. But I was there every day almost working on that track as well, just trying to make something special.
Yeah, that bass line is absolutely killer.
Yeah.
It's just something super, super unique.
So with that one, it was my part predominantly was the bass design, rocking up there with all ideas that I had, and kind of, I love Serum. Serum's like,
oh, it's my go-to VST, man.
from the gods, that plugin. You know, it's just so easy to work with and all that sort of stuff. But I have like this sort of preset that I have at the moment where I've just been going to it and I just keep adding to it every time. And then like, I think that's just how my sounds sort of develop now. And then I got to that point when I came up to D&B Religion, and then like it just was like working. And then I came across this like, oh, not like that, but it's like wob,
yeah,
like sort of wobs. And then I showed it to Phil, and then Phil just went in and he's just like that, you know, kind of like picking, you know, fruit off a tree or something, like, you know. And then, yeah, we just went from there. But that's not the way I normally would start a track. I would normally get the drums loaded up, get saying, you know, punching, kick, snares, hats, you know, get it rolling. And then I'll add a sub just to get that sort of feel, and then I'll roll in with my basses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really try to drive for that unique sort of style, and try and be just different, because you hear a lot of and see a lot of on Facebook, a lot of artists like, you know, it's sounding plain, it sounds the same, which is true to an extent, you know. I mean, this foghorn phase is another sort of key example, but I mean, people love it at the moment. I mean, I'm enjoying it as well, you know, but eventually, you know, it will go down and then something else will come along and it'll just kick it back up again. But, you know, I just find, you know, I want to make something different and a bit interesting, and hopefully catch a few people's attention and all that sort of stuff.
It definitely has caught a lot of people's attention with some of these tracks. How have you found as well with this new track?
Yeah, New Paradigm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Paradigm.
one was... I think that was a big step up for me in my bass design, I think, because a lot of the basses that I would make today, say like Shake It, which I released recently, Amplifier had a little bit of it, and then Candy was a big one that people really loved, that one. And Red Zone too, and they all would have stemmed off that track sort of thing from the bass design.
Yep.
standpoint, and yeah, it's just that track there was so much fun to make because I was just like going with the like slow movement of it, and then one day I was working on it, and then in the second half of the track you can hear like starts going like high pitch and stuff, but that's actually not me trying to do it. That was like Serum kind of like crashed, but then I like saved it somehow, and then it just sounded really good with it, and I'm just going, I'm just gonna go with this. Sounded good, and then I really liked it as like a really good switch up. And I think after this track as well, people started recognizing my switch ups as well, because I always in my tracks I always have like a switch up, whereas a lot of other tracks they would kind of dive down and like gradually work into the breakdown and then keep it neat and stuff like that. But I just like to go like up again and then kind of take it to another level, but I think as well it's me getting into those basses more, so like I just keep tweaking them, playing with them, and then next thing you know just more, and then I end up liking that more, and it's just like it just progresses nicely. And I hope that it gets people to follow the track as well and stick with it all the way to the end instead of like skipping through it and stuff like that,
or like straight starting straight at the breakdown or something.
yeah 5 seconds before the drop, just straight into it.
Find that very pleasing when you can hear the track developing, especially the first 16 bars. After like when the drop happens, you can you feel the vibe of it. Yeah. And then, like you said, with that high-pitched tone that comes in this song, and then the stank face, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
It just develops. Yeah. And you're just like, crap, okay, now we're talking. Now the ball's rolling.
Yeah, because it's that sort of thing as well. It catches you off guard as well. And that's what I like to do in my mixing as well, which is just to catch people off guard. It's kind of, you bring in like the cheeky build-ups that everyone knows, everyone sings to, everyone enjoys, and then you'd kind of switch it up into like this big, dirty bass line or like a big foghorn, saying like kind of silly-ish or something like that, and then people just they just love it, and then I get a kick out of it as well because you just see everyone and they're in it and they're loving it, which is why I'm super excited about Inhibit this Saturday, because I think this is the first time I played lead up for an Inhibit gig, and
it's going to go off.
It's just going to go off, yeah. And it's at the Court. First time I played main stage at the Court. So that's going to be something else as well. The sound system there is like really cool. Yeah.
And their daytime parties in general, like we were talking about before, they're just amazing because everybody's come there to actually have a good time, and it's always a good atmosphere because just naturally those beer garden sort of style atmospheres is always just super positive because there's people that can actually come there that don't need to necessarily plan the whole day out. If they've got work the next day, they can actually come down, watch a couple of sets, and then they can go home. So I really like that time frame. I think it's one of the best time slots, those afternoon, because it feels like a Sunday sesh almost.
Yeah.
But then it's not, and you're like, fuck, I've still got tomorrow off. Or
exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling when you wake up fresh next morning. You're just like, yeah, I feel good. Like, let's go do something else. Like, but yeah, it's really the Court's really cool. And I was there for the last event with Matrix Future Bound and 1991, and it's really cool to see because when that place fills up with the dance floor, it kind of goes down into
sinks into that pit.
It sinks into the pit, and when it's full, it looks like a wave of people on the on the sides and at the front as well. It just looks incredible, and yeah, it's just one of those things.
And it doesn't block anyone's view. That's a big thing as well. Other clubs, but I mean that's more of like an open patio sort of style. But say like when you're in a Hibbert sometimes at Villa, a lot of like I don't know posts are in the way, or like the way people are standing. Sometimes it can be quite not jarring, but blinding a little bit because you really want to see the artist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So those open venues are really cool. I really dig them. Especially sometimes as well. Capital was really nice as open room because they've had a lot more drum and bass gigs recently, and even after the Inhibit gig, I think there's a Subfiller Josh. He plays like halftime drum and bass.
Yeah, actually,
He's
I
playing
I
at
did see
Capital
that.
as well.
Yeah,
I
I
think
did
that's
see
straight
that.
after.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I hit up one of the guys that was doing the Capital thing, but I got in there too late, I think, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna wrap it up in December." I'm like, "Oh no." Let us know if you do something next year, but But yeah, the Capital is really great. It's such a big club too. Like I went there the other week for Aircon Sidetracks going away sort of gig.
Yeah.
And that place, it just kind of like loops around onto it. Like it just goes from one section, and the one section's playing all like commercial stuff, and you move on to the outdoor area, and then it's like a arcade, and it's just games everywhere, and there's just people drinking, smoking outside. Like it's just a lot of fun. Like you don't get
bar
bored
as well. Connected. Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of like a club playground.
Yeah.
And then as well the 90s room. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
you got the
upstairs
top
room.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, well, that's really fun. There's actually a Good Karma did an event with Circa, but Circa's not running anymore. But they used to do boat parties.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day
I've
they
been
come
to a
back.
couple of them. They're so
They
fun.
are next level. They are the best thing. Still got it. I never got to play a set there, but hopefully it comes back one day because it's just unbelievable. The attraction, the boat party itself is just like, let's go. But when they all connect up together and everyone's having fun, music's going, sausage sizzle, everyone just loves it. And then I get there and it's just like, it's so much fun.
We've been working actually with the guys at the event Wavy. So there's a guy, Daniel.
Yeah.
He actually, I think he started going here, playing actually the drum and bass verse bass line event, which is next. But they've just started up this boat party sort of events, and I'm not sure if they're doing daytime ones yet. But like you said with the Circa ones, is amazing because you just go out straight into the middle of the Swan River and you're listening to like, I don't know, the music you really want to dig, and everyone's pissed, everyone's swimming, and you just like looking up at the city and like everyone's just doing
nice
their normal
fucking-
day
yeah.
thing, and you're just like having a house party on the ocean.
Yeah, it's so
on the river,
dangerous. Like like I remember the first ones as well. It was the drinks were inclusive in your ticket.
Yeah.
So everyone would just get absolutely hammered, and I'm pretty sure it was like 10 drinks was the amount you would pay with your ticket, and most people wouldn't even drink 10, so it's just drink as much as you want basically. And then I think they had to cut it down because people could just get a bit too silly and but yeah, it was getting a bit dangerous. But it's always funny when you always go to the esky and then you got the UDLs and stuff like that, and the orange would always be gone. Like everyone would hide it somewhere, or like everyone just loves orange. Like orange is just like the big thing. And then like, oh, there's no orange left. And then someone would be like, oh yeah, come over here. And then like they'll pull up the seat, and then there'll be just like oranges in there. And, like grab it and then run off, sort of thing, and all that. But yeah, those
get you
boat
plastered.
parties. Yeah, 5 years Good Karma, but Good Karma Music is the label.
But the label itself isn't it shutting down?
Med
Good
School,
Karma.
sorry.
Med School, sorry.
Yeah, Med School shutting down.
Yeah.
But
5 years of GKM.
Good Karma's not going anywhere just yet.
Yeah.
So we still got a lot of stones to turn over yet. Big goals. We're looking at, well, I mean, I think we're
This
in
is
the
a
infinite,
massive achievement, but
yeah.
5 years of JKM and the lineup that you're coming out with, and especially, I'm sure you've had those guys in before. They know how you roll. You know how they roll.
Yeah.
And you're having it at the court. Is it daytime party?
Yeah. So it's daytime.
Yeah.
So 3 to 10. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be awesome.
What local artists are supporting? Do you know off the top of your head?
So we've
Yourself?
got myself. And then we've also got Chloe Payne on the vocals for Haddon and his girlfriend. They're great together, those two. They'll come in and play some really nice stuff to open up with, and especially with Chloe's vocals and stuff. So it's gonna be a great night.
I really love those sorts of people incorporate other people into their sets. If somebody singing maybe over 2 or 3 tracks, it just adds a little bit more dynamics to the whole mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when I've seen like Shock One when he does his sets and he brings out his sister.
Yeah.
And it adds another depth to the whole mix, and you're like, fuck yeah, that's so cool. And
it definitely gives its like human touch, which sometimes drum and bass is a bit lacking when it's very drives hard and it's just hitting hard, and
you need to
you
break
need
it up
kind
a
of
bit.
that. You need those vocals just saying to like for humans to grab onto and listen to and sing to and stuff like that. But it's gonna be great. You know, we got Whiny coming out. We've had him out before. We got Keno, Royston, Degs.
Can't wait for Degs.
Yeah, and Unglued was the real big one, and we waited till last to reveal him because I'm sure that one would sell quite a few tickets because he's unbelievable, and he's got so much unreleased music to come out, and and then on top of that, I've heard he's a really cool dude as well. Well, all these guys are all cool dudes, but I've heard that from Terrence, so I look forward to. I think Winey's the only one out of that batch I think we've had that I can think of at the moment. Yeah, I think it's just Winey. But yeah, he was really good when he came out last time, you know, full of energy. You know, it's good because all these young artists as well, they come out full of energy and it's just like, let's play, let's do it.
And especially first time, like down south as well, seeing like, I guess the response from people that they've never ever met before, and they know their songs and whatnot, and everyone's got the same stank face. Yeah,
it's one of them things where I haven't experienced myself, but it'd be great to see where your music's going, because the internet is so crazy and so, you know, broad, and it goes everywhere. And it's just like, you know, you'd love to, you know, play one of your songs out and then, you know, watch everyone's responses, and like people come up to you, meet you, and they're just like, oh, I heard your track, it's so good, blah blah blah, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, thanks. So like humble and stuff, and a bit like, what, like a bit taken away a little bit sometimes, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. But
yeah, you definitely feel a little bit dazzled, I could imagine, when you hear your songs getting flipped at some of those events and gigs, and you're like, what? And people are just like going off.
Yeah, just like, yeah, get that shitty tune out of there. What are you doing? Like, but yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to Good Karma event because it's gonna be the family sort of vibe, but it's gonna be amplified so much, and everyone's just gonna be in it together, have a really good time.
As well over the last 5 years.
Seeing old people that were there from the start that, you know, can't come out to events anymore because, you know, they might have families or, you know, work things and stuff like that, so they only can come to one every now and then, you know. But
it's definitely the one to be at.
Yeah, it's definitely the one to be at. So get your tickets, get yourself sorted, have a lot of fun because we are, and everyone's welcome. Get involved. I always remember though, my favourite Good Karma event was when we teamed up with Inhibit and they brought over Lodestar, and we kind of did a sort of a team up of that, and that night there, and you speak to a lot of the Good Karma people that we kind of friends with now and hang out with and stuff like that within the group. Everyone talks about that night because that night was just something else, you know. Everyone was together. It was our first international act. It was like our first big step going up, and that was at Metro's Fremantle as well. And that just packed out. And it was the most people I think we've had
in a long time.
I think, in the high 700s or even 800s, I think it crept up to. It was quite packed down the bottom.
Yeah.
And it was just so great to see. Everyone was just in it. And the Lodestar, he was just the nicest dude going, and it's just like made the whole experience like so much fun as well. And unfortunately I didn't get to play that gig, but watching people like Shane Houston and Michael Bell play their sets, and you know, it really definitely drives and makes you want to put more energy into it, you know.
It just motivates you a lot more.
Just you know, watching the night happen, and you're like, you know, let's make this bigger. Let's
this
go
whole
again.
production come together. Yeah.
And then now look at us, you know, 5 years later, we're just still pushing and stuff like that. But as far as I see, we're in the infinite game, you know, where there's no end. You just keep going until you either don't want to do it anymore or you run out of resources, whatever, you know. You just keep going because, I mean, it's just so much fun. And yeah, I think this would be one to remember for sure, but I'm sure there'll be so many more bigger events, and we got a lot planned for next year. So it's all happening.
Like how with the 5 years thing, like just imagine how big 10 years would be.
It's crazy. Well, even Roller was doing 20 years, and that was phenomenal.
I was just speaking to a friend
incredible.
about just all electronic music gigs. Every weekend, or nearly every weekend, there's an international act in Perth. And like a big act, not just like, oh, okay, it's some guy from, I don't know, Russia or something. There's just like there's Holly Goof as well playing on Friday. And whatnot. Is it Holly Goof and Habstruck, I think?
I'm not too sure, but I know he's playing
on Friday, and then Saturday the Inhibit gig.
Yeah, and then there's Slipmat as well on the other side as well, which that sold out. Which was I was going to go to that, but then I got the gig, and then I was like, oh, all right, I'm going to this then. But yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
And Origin as well. For New Year's. Some of the artists that roll through there, and you think about, because New Year's obviously only happens once a year.
Yeah.
And there's just this stack lineup. Like some of the older lineups, I really prefer the more bass heavy ones, where it's like Foreign Beggars, Noisier, and just the real sort of dark heavy sort of acts. And just one stage, I think it was Foreign Beggars, Skrillex, Knife Party, Flux Pavilion, just is absolute crazy. And you're just thinking like they're all in this one city on like one day. That's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. But Origin, they've done really well. But my first ever festival was probably my favorite festival that I've ever been to, and that was when it was in Fairbridge, and like way down south, and we travelled so far for it, but it was 2 days or 3 days, whatever it was, but it was just out in the middle of nowhere. It was really hot, but it's one of them things, it's just everyone was in it together, camping and stuff. Music barely stopped, but it was just so much fun. And I don't think, I haven't been a part of anything like that since then when I first, and I was like, gee, this is a big sort of pedestal to start on, but it didn't really didn't really happen after that, or if any really, but Origin is definitely well and truly ahead of the game at the moment. Their parties are unbelievable. And then I was lucky enough to get picked in the top 10 last year for the DJ comp.
Oh yeah.
But it turned into a popularity contest, and then drum bass isn't really the biggest. Drum bass wasn't really the biggest, so I kind of didn't win that one. But I was definitely a bit devastated about that, because when I made the top 10, you're starting to think like, the what ifs start coming in, you get a bit nervous and stuff, and then you kind of see it's a popularity contest, and you kind of drop off a little bit and stuff. But you really try and push the messages out there, but you kind of feel a bit like invasive, like getting in people's inboxes and being like, oh, can you like do this? Like people you haven't talked to in like so long on your friends list. And
just like, get 100 people to vote for me, please.
Can you just vote for me, like, and then tell your mates, and then like tell them mates to vote for me, like, but that would be the dream. Origin to get on there, and Metro City is one of my goals for Perth. But I mean, I've got way bigger goals than that. Like the world is
the world's your oyster, man.
Yeah, the world, you just go anywhere, So, and then I've also decided I'm going to the UK as well in July, August next year. So I'll probably start off in Europe somewhere first in July, and then move over
change
in
your
August.
pace.
Yeah. Well, it's more for the sets, and then get over there to meet all these people, because you get all these inboxes from all these people, and it's just like, when are you coming? Like, and then it's like, oh no, it's expensive, I can't. Like, and then you're a bit. I've only been to Thailand as well, so it's like, it's very nerve wracking for me as well. Going to the other side of the world, and I've been very close with everyone that I've known in my life, so leaving them will be very different, and especially going away for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it will be, a long time, 2 months. Yeah. So, it'd be a different experience. But I do look forward to the challenge, though, and it'll be great fun. And it's actually pretty funny. I have to mention this, but when I was at Extended Play last weekend at Indie Bar, I got a fortune cookie, and, of course, I got a palmy. But I got a fortune cookie and opened it up, and it said something along the lines of like, oh, you're going to be traveling soon, and for it was like for business and pleasure and stuff. And then I was just like, this is it.
The little things.
The little things, and it's just like, let's go. And then running around showing everyone like around the club, like, yeah, I'm doing it, like. But yeah, I got to make it happen, I guess now. But yeah, but it will come in time. Like I know it will happen one day. I just got to keep going. But yeah, that's that's the goals.
Thank you for coming in onto the show and expressing some of your interests and definitely talking about some of your tracks.
Yeah,
and as well, we're really keen to see where the KT Kinga will like. What more is to come?
Yeah,
there's a lot more is to come. Definitely.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah. The KT Kinga train is not stopping anytime soon. So.
Just started, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, jump on it while it's moving, and and then Good Karma as well, just taking off as well. So, do a little quick. Anyone's got any submissions to send to Good Karma Music? Feel free, send them over. Always happy to share music. So, you know.
Yeah, plug your email, man.
Yeah. If you want to book me,
we'll drop some links down in the comments.
Yeah.
And
get onto those links. Click them. Message me. Ask me how my day's been. Whatever you want to talk about.
where you can get good palmies.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
My bad.